Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to Sneaker Stories. As always, I'm your host Chris Jack. Today, checking out a pair that I've been dying to get into my own hands and collection for so long now is none other than Stussy's exclusive collaboration with Nike, of course, on the Air Force 1 in the Fossil colorway. Without further ado, let's check them out. Alright, so the Fossil colorway of the Air Force 1, which was an exclusive to Stussy as part of this collaboration, released alongside a black variation of the shoe as well. I've actually got a little infant pair here in that particular colorway, so you can see the difference between the two. This, being an exclusive to Stussy, wasn't available anywhere else in the world on sneakers or anything like that apart from Stussy stores. So we only had an option to get the black variants over here in adult, young kids and infant sizing or toddler sizing, if I remember correctly. However, as we know how that goes, I don't know anyone that managed to get an adult pair in that colorway other than some of these infant ones that popped up here locally. So this was really the one that everybody wanted. I think it was just more of a colorway that was, I guess, a bit more appealing to people. It certainly was to me. The whole construction of this pair consists of a hemp upper, and it really is just insane in hand. But before I get into the details of the shoe did release on the 11th of December 2020, so not too long ago, and prices have kind of been going up and down. Around like $300 to $400 depending on size in places like StockX and Goats, etc. And it really just was one of those shoes that I knew that I had to get in on before it starts to like really climb, which I believe this particular shoe will do, especially being on an Air Force 1 silhouette over time. But into the details of the shoe, and starting with the outsole here, this is a completely tonal sail color or fossil color outsole and midsole combination over here, all completely one color with tonal stitching there throughout the shoe as well. You've just got the Air logo over here, typical of the Air Force 1 midsole, but obviously done in the tonal coloring as well. But into the upper of the shoe, this is where things really get a little bit mind-blowing. For me, the entire construction of this is done in a hemp material, and that's literally everywhere that you see here in the upper. So it's got quite a bit of a canvas feel to it, relatively tough and rough as you would come to expect from any kind of hemp product. And then towards the toe box section over here, just with some detailing, and we're going to have to get this with a B-roll shot here. You do have the double S Stussy logo, which has been embroidered into the toe box there, just in a slightly lighter sail color stitching, of course. And then moving towards the eyelet sections over here, you can see the reinforcement done there in and around each one of those lace eyelets with an embroidered stitch too. The laces provided with the shoe are of hemp nature as well. They do have quite a rough texture to them as well, but just really awesome that this entire upper, I guess, or at least the exterior of it, is done in hemp. One of my absolute favorite features on this has to be the swoosh. It's got a very unique stitch design to it as well. Again, just using like almost kind of a loose stitch, basically two different sections of that, creating this, I guess, like a jewel swoosh, if you would call it that, and that is done on the lateral and the medial side of the shoe. Now, just opening up the laces to show you the tongue over here. The exterior of the tongue is also done in hemp material. Towards the top of that, you do have the Stussy logo here, or at least collaboration logo, with the Nike swoosh a little bit further down. However, one thing I was not expecting with this pair, and I never noticed, to be honest, was the inclusion of an entire leather inner, and that is on the reverse of the tongue over here. The entire sock liner construction of that, even underneath the toe box here, the entire lining inside of the shoe is done in leather, and that is with the exception of the insoles, of which, if I can get them out, always a bit of a pull. You've got a complete hemp overlay here on the traditional Air Force 1 insole. A really nice touch, and the inclusion of the hemp and the leather interior of the shoe really elevates it to more of a premium style Air Force 1, something I'm just incredibly stoked to have myself. Now, just swinging around to the heel section of the shoe, you do have a double S Stussy logo here, which is, I think, kind of like on a metal sort of jewel type thing, which has just been secured here in the back of the shoe. You do also have that similar stitch detail over here that they've used in the swoosh down in the heel section. It's got a bit more of like a hairy effect to it because the stitches are a little bit looser over here, but ultimately it just creates another texture towards the heel of the shoe, and then obviously highlighted by that logo there. I do want to say that the jewel part is not my favorite part of the shoe. Like, I guess I don't really see it on foot or anything like that too much. I could probably have done without that personally. but it is a nice touch, and I'm sure some people will enjoy that more. Now, from a pricing perspective, I'm not actually sure what the retail was here in South Africa in rand value, but it was $130 in the United States. I would probably put this shoe around 2,500 rand at retail, potentially maybe even around 2,800 if that, if it were to release here on sneakers. I know the black one was somewhere around that price, but as mentioned earlier in the review, on places like StockX and GOAT, you're looking at anywhere between $300 and $400 depending on size in the aftermarket resale space. And from a sizing perspective, I did go with a half size down from my true to size in Air Force One, which is what I would usually do. I sometimes even go a full size down from my true to size, but this particular pair definitely fits a lot more snug than I'm used to on Air Force One. So even going half a size down might actually be just a little bit too narrow for me, if I'm really honest. Maybe with wearing the shoe, it will loosen up just a little bit with the leather interior and the hemp outer on it. But I would probably suggest maybe going true to size with this pair. And as always, if you do have the opportunity to try this pair on before buying, then that's always going to be your safest bet. I think that if you do have a wide foot, true to size is probably going to be good for you, and by true to size, your normal Nike size, not your normal Air Force One size. But yeah, I'm not really too bummed at a half size down. Like, it definitely fits, but it fits just really snug. The only places that I feel like they're a little bit too small is right here, just in these two parts, left and right, of kind of the ball of my foot. But as said, yeah, that could loosen up over time with wear. It's definitely not a shoe that I'm going to sell now and buy another 9. I'm sticking with this one. And last but not least, just to show you the co-branded box over here, you've got the Nike logo on top with Stussy branding on the sides of the box. This is the same kind of box that we got from the Kokini 2 over here. This was an interesting shoe. When I look at these two shoes side by side over here, this one is an obvious winner for me. Like, I did have quite a bit of hope for the shoe, but having put this one on foot, wasn't quite comfortable like pulling that style off myself. This one is just a lot more classic. It's super clean, it's super luxurious, and a really, really awesome addition to my collection. But that is it for this review of the Fossil colorway, the Stussy exclusive on the Air Force One with Nike. I hope you guys have found it helpful, enjoyable. If you did, please do me the favor, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe right here for more content like this down the line. But that is all for today, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.